This is Tommy Wildfire Rich, former Big Don. Tune in to This Is Extreme.
Beat me if you can. Survive if I let you.
Procreate nevermore.
Let the new era begin. The era of the ECW.
Oh my God! This is extreme. Greetings, ECW fans, and welcome to This is Extreme, the ECW History Podcast. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. And no, don't check your calendars, don't check your clocks, don't check your watches, your whatever it is you check. You're not wrong. This is not the normal week for an episode of This is Extreme. So what we're giving you today is a little mini bonus episode. This is coming to you because I had the chance to speak just for a few minutes with Wildfire Tommy Rich, the Big Don of the Full-Blooded Italians. And it was just a short interview. It was just a few minutes that I had with him, about 15 minutes or so. There's not really a whole lot of new information per se in the interview, but we did talk about Tommy's ECW run, those 2 years or so that he was there in ECW with the FBI. Again, there's not a whole lot of really groundbreaking, earth-shattering, whatever information there. But it was good to chat to Tommy and get some feedback and some feel. He really enjoyed his time in ECW, and I think you can get a sense of that from my talk with him. But like I said, it's not really, whatever. There's not a whole lot of new information. It's not really that lengthy. I mean, it's actually very short. So it didn't really warrant a full episode. I didn't want to do that, right? Because I didn't feel comfortable with that. But I didn't want to just sit on it and not do anything. So I thought, hell, I'll put it out there as a little mini bonus episode in the off week. Just so that you guys get a chance to hear it, and just something to keep you primed for the episode that'll now be next week, right? You don't have to wait 2 weeks for a little more content from us. So anyway, that interview, that little chat, is coming up with you for you. Excuse me, here in just a minute. Make sure that you subscribe to us on whatever platform you do. Rate and review us if that's an option. Make sure you follow us on social media. Still locked out of the ECW Pod Twitter/X account. Just don't know if I'm ever going to get that back. So make sure you follow the podcast on all the other platforms. Make sure you follow me personally on X at the Dave Dynasty, and you still get all those ECW posts that I always put on the other. Again, I don't know if I'll ever get it back. I'm really not sweating it. I'm doing what I can. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So be it. So anyway, with that being said, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll have that little chat I had with Tommy Rich. So stick around. Be sure to follow This is Extreme on all social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for ECW Pod. Be sure to follow us, keep up to date, and join in the discussions. We want to hear your feedback, so find us on all the social media platforms and join the revolution. All right, and welcome back to This is Extreme. At this time, I'm being joined by a wrestling legend, a former world champion, and a former member of the Full-Blooded Italians, the Big Don, Wildfire, Tommy Rich. Tommy, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Just got through eating a slice.
Well, yeah, you can't beat that, right? Just so you know, that won't be the last time we talk about pizza in this. Well, Tommy, it's been a long time since we talked, and today I just want to talk just about those couple of years you were in ECW. And you came in early '97, and I assume that's because you had that pass with Paul E. and worked with him and knew Paul E. and Paul E. invited you in. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, Tommy Dreamer too. Him and Tommy Dreamer probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when you came in, right, you came in just doing your usual Tommy Rich thing. You wrestled a lot of guys there, Ricky Morton, some other guys. And then you started joining up with Little Guido as a member of the Full-Blooded Italian. So how did that ideal come about? I know they were kind of doing that anyway with JT Smith a little bit before, but was that just Paulie come to you and said, "Hey, Tommy, I got an ideal"?
Yeah, they asked me would I mind managing, and I said especially when they said they was going to put Tracy and Guido together, I told them I didn't have no problem with it.
Yeah, and they, like I said, you switched over to managing, and they called you the Big Don. You mentioned Tracy. Man, Tracy, he's always an amazing talent, right? Always. in the ring and everything else. But man, in ECW, he really got to show a little more of that personality.
Yeah. Well, but just it was, you figure Tracy and me and little Guido together, that pissed a lot of northern folks off,
Yeah. But that Tracy that we saw in the Full Blooded Titans there with the dancing and everything else, is that what Tracy was like in the locker room and on the road behind the scenes a lot?
Oh, yeah. Tracy, I mean, you'll have some say what they say, but I mean, Tracy and me, we always got along good. I thought he's real good people.
Well, yeah, and at this time, right, ECW had a lot of young guys. Did any of those guys ever come to you or Tracy, asking for advice or any guidance or anything, or how was that?
Well, it's good. They had a heck of a crew in there when I went in. I mean, you figure you had Shane Douglas, you had the Dudleys. I mean, you had Sabu, Rob Van Dam. I mean, them boys knew what to do anyway, So, but they was all real respectful.
Yeah, talk to me about Guido, because man, Guido, man, he's a talent, and he's a guy that didn't get talked about. I mean, he's obviously a smaller guy, but man, they call him the Sicilian shooter, and that's not a work. I mean, he can hold his own, can he?
Oh, and little Guido, I loved him. I mean, it was just it was. I mean, it was work, but we had a great time. We had a good combination. Everybody got along good. That's one thing about ECW. It was just everybody went out there and did their job, and everything took off. I mean, they had a heck of a territory.
Yeah, and you, like you said, you've worked everywhere. I mean, you pretty much did. If there's a territory or an area of the country, you worked there, or the world for that matter. But how did the crowd in ECW compare to some of those territories? Right, it was a hot crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They hated me, said I was the big Don too. I mean, so it was different. It's why, I come from the South, from that Bible Belt. Then you get up there, and it's, the promos, they're completely different. MF this and MF that. I mean, it was just a different culture, man. And when I first night, I'm thinking, oh Lord, they really, man. And then you see that's just them, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, what'd you think? I mean, being old school, like you said, from the South. I mean, this was a smarter crowd, right? They were reading the dirt sheets and doing this. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was, well, that's when the business had started changing some, but but it's like the cheat sheets. That's like when they put the belts on Guido and Tracy that night, because they'd already on the sheets said who was going to win, and so anyway, they switched it up and
Yeah.
put them on Tracy and Guido, which I think was a smart thing.
Yeah.
I mean, people still love the mystique of the business. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I think even today, I mean, people like to be fooled, man. They still like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But so I mean, was it weird for you, difficult for you though, with that smart crowd, or did you just say, hey, it's what's happening? I've seen change. You just gotta work through it and keep going.
Oh, I had a hell of a time. I mean, they loved to hate me, and so it was. I mean, it was a good spot. I enjoyed it. We had a great time doing it, make money. I mean, so it was all good.
Yeah, and you talked about how talented the locker room was, but how close were they? Because you always hear about it being kind of like a family, man, and everybody getting along and pitching in. Did you see a lot of that?
Oh yeah, it wasn't. Though it wasn't this group sitting over in this corner and this group sitting in this corner. I mean, everybody got along. Yeah, I would say it was one of the best territories that all the guys did get along.
Yeah. So what led to you leaving ECW in '99?
Well, my time just ran out. It was time to move on. I'd had my run.
Yeah. So just that simple. I mean, no problems with Paul. No, nothing. Just say, I think I've done my bit, and let's do something different now.
Yeah, it was a mutual thing.
Yeah. So when you think back, you've spoken, pretty fondly of it. But when you look back in ECW, man, does any specific matches or moments or memories jump out at you that make you laugh and remember that time?
It was a lot of laughing, a lot of blur, Yeah, but it was, it just, I just loved just going out there, because it was, like you said, the crowd's completely different there. And it was fun to go out there and the people be mad at you,
Yeah. And I mean, you've worked a lot of buildings, and you've worked some really nice buildings, and I'm sure you've worked some dumps. What about the ECW arena, man? You hear people talk about that. Not a very good building, but man, the atmosphere is something else.
Oh yeah, and that's where all the wrestling started. Those in the buildings too.
That's right. Yep.
That's where people ask me, like, I'm doing this thing in Kentucky now, Wildfire Championship Wrestling. We're running shows up there, and it's so cool because they still believe, and it's just it's a great atmosphere too. I'm really enjoying that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they call it ECW Arena Bingo Hall, but I guess that's not the weirdest place you've ever wrestled.
No, I've wrestled in different places. Yeah, but then when I started too, it was all you figure it was all little small buildings. They had the big where they had the big shows. A lot of them towns you go to, just be a little building out in the middle of nowhere, and they'd be jam packed.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, you've done about everything in the business there is to do, wrestled about everywhere. But how often now, when if you go out or you go to, in a convention or just anywhere, how often are you recognized for ECW specifically? I mean, I imagine with a lot of young fans, that's how they remember you most is for those years now.
Yeah, it's like up north, it's always the ECW thing, and then here in Georgia. South, it's more the Tommy Rich thing,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that, like Tracy and so many other guys that had a long career. I mean, man, you got to change, you got to evolve, you got to try different things. I mean, life doesn't, life's not the same. The same stuff you did in 82 won't work in 99. It's different stuff.
Yeah.
And, no, go ahead. Were you going to say something else?
No, it's just a different horse. I mean, but like I said, there in Kentucky, it just reminds me we're going to the schools and doing benefits and fundraisers and stuff, and the crowds are, you get in there and it's packed up, and it gives me a blast to the past. It's just it's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it's weird because I always tell people, man, everybody talks about how much things have changed, but I don't know if it's changed so much. It's just, I don't know, some of the tool. I mean, hell, you used to go and paper towns with flyers. Well, now you just do it online, right? You just put your stuff online. It's the same concept, right? You're just doing it a little differently.
Oh yeah, but I still believe in them. Of course, WWE and the big companies, they're all there advertising, that's all commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Where the smaller towns, you can go and still poster them,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you got to work your, I mean, that's why ECW worked, right? In Philly, that's what they wanted.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely, and
I mean, that goes all the way back to Crockett and everything. I mean, when you guys went through there, man, they like the hills and they like the blood. I mean, it was no different, right? There was knew how to work the town.
Oh, and I'm gonna tell you what, I have more respect for ECW boys. I mean, they pounded each other. I was glad I was managing sometimes.
I bet, yeah. Because
I see that Balls Mahoney just if you didn't bend hair over his head, he was mad at you.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some tough characters. There was quite a few characters there, and they was every one of them tough.
Yeah, that's one of the bad things, I guess, when you do that though, because man, once you do something big, man, you got to do something even bigger the next time to up it again. And I always heard New Jack talk that, right? Because he said he would jump off the balconies, and he did it as first for a big thing, and then they come to expect it. And he's like, man, I can't do it every show. That's not what it is.
Oh yeah, and he would jump. I mean,
crazy stuff. Man, you talked earlier. You said you just had a slice, and man, one of the things with the FBI is they always chanted, "Where's my pizza?" at you guys.
Yeah,
So I got to know what's the Big Don eat on his pizza?
I really like it. I like it all, but the anchovies.
Oh yeah, don't like the anchovies, huh?
Yeah, no anchovies. I ain't big on them.
Yeah,
but I like it. Just good slice with pepperoni on it's good with me.
That's right. Yeah.
I love it. That's probably my favorite, pepperoni on it.
Yeah.
But I like the cream one too.
Yeah, I imagine a Southern boy not big on anchovies. It's not a big in the South, is it?
Yeah.
Oh man, but like you said, man, you're a lot more active recently than you've been in a few years. You're out there online. You're doing some. You said you're running some shows, making some appearances. You mentioned your promotion there for a minute. You want to plug it a little more? What's it all about there?
Oh, it's Wildfire Championship Wrestling. We started at the end of last year, uh, and running through Kentucky. Just up in them small towns where it all started. We're going back and starting it there.
Yeah. And once it's in your blood, you got to stay involved, don't you? It's just too much fun.
Yeah, I still love it. I mean, I'm so blessed, man. Shoot, I started in 1975. And just been so blessed, man. Ain't no fans like wrestling fans.
And like I said, man, you've done it all. You worked everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Anybody, reminisces, talks about history and territory. I mean, at some point in time, Tommy Rich was there, and it's like I said, we just talked about ECW. I mean, I bet you could talk for hours on all this. I mean, hell, you could do hours just on one territory you've been in. But
yeah.
It's crazy. You've done a lot there, Tommy. And so if people want to follow you a little bit and keep track, are you guys on Facebook or anything where they can keep an eye on these things?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
All right, so they can look you guys up on Facebook and keep track if you're in the Kentucky area and check out a show. I assume you're at all the shows. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
So there you go. There's a chance to meet the big Don himself out of these shows and see some. I'm assuming there's a good old Southern style wrestling there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a show coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact, and Ricky Morton and Kerry James and Shane Douglas. I got quite a few guys on it. It's a pretty good part.
Yeah, it sounds good, Tommy. And man, like I said, I appreciate your time. Give me a little bit. Like I said, I just wanted to focus in on these 2 years. And like you said, you spent most of it managing, but it was still, man, I mean, you got your face on the Italian flag. Where is that flag?
Yeah.
Who's got that flag?
I don't know where it's at.
Man, I wonder if Guido's got that. That's something.
Yeah, I don't know where that one got to.
How'd that come? What did they do? Just have it airbrushed on, or just go to someone to airbrush it?
Yeah.
That's wild, man. Because I know Philly's got some Italian neighborhoods, man. They must have not liked seeing your.
Yeah, it got heat. You ain't lying.
Oh, that's great. I mean, you just got to know how to push the buttons, don't you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, man, like I said, I appreciate you working me in and give me a little bit. And someday maybe we'll talk again. We'll talk some of your other stuff, some of your other territories. And good luck with your show, man. If I ever get that area, I'll try to catch one.
All right. Thank you, Dave. You have a good.
Yeah, have a good day, Tommy. Support This Is Extreme and buy the This Is Extreme shirt. Show the world that you are part of the revolution and that you support our podcast and the history of ECW. Go to tinyurl.com/ECWpod shirt and buy yours today. All right, welcome back to This Is Extreme. Once again, thank you to Tommy Rich for coming on and speaking with me for a few minutes. Like I said, the opportunity came up to speak to Tommy just for a few minutes. I thought, well, heck, I got to take advantage to speak to the big Don and, and get a little feedback on his time in ECW. Again, nothing groundbreaking there, but you know what? It is what it is. It was a fun little chat. And as you can see, it really sounds like Tommy really, really enjoyed his time in ECW. Was very positive about that time, very complimentary of his time and the other talent there. And when you got a guy that's been all over the world, wrestled everybody, seen everything, pretty much done it all in wrestling, that's a high compliment when he heaps some praise on ECW. So, but again, there you have it, the mini bonus episode that is out there for you, and we will be back in one more week with our regular episode of This Is Extreme. So until that time, wherever you go and whatever you do, be good, be safe, and always keep it extreme.